extraordinary that people should continue to assert that they work, since the government itself and the World Health Organization, right up until June last year, were perfectly clear that they made very little difference either in protecting people from infection or from preventing them from passing on infection. There has been only one major randomized controlled trial into the effectiveness of masks, the Down-Mask trial, which went largely unreported by most British media. And what that said was that the difference between those who wore masks and those who did not in actually getting infected was statistically insignificant. So I think people should be a bit less confident about asserting that masks work in themselves. The other simple point here that we have to make is that there is a big difference between the loose cloth masks, which are commonly worn by the public, and the sort of masks which are worn in hospitals, which are the N95 type particularly, which costs an awful lot more, which can only be worn once, which if touched while it's being worn becomes useless, and is entirely different both in nature and use from the things which are being worn. And the other thing is that there doesn't seem to be any serious correlation between mask usage and the levels of infections of COVID around the world if you compare all countries. I think the other thing we must remember is a fascinating scoop by Deborah Cohen, the medical correspondent at BBC Newsnight, a year ago now, when the World Health Organization reversed its position on masks. She inquired and discovered from contacts that the decision had not been taken as a result of medical information, but for political reasons. And she put this to her contacts at WHO, and they did not in any way seek to put her off it. I think there's evidence of this all over the place. The reason why the British government and some others seek to continue mask wearing is that they see it as a badge of compliance, and that they think that if people stop wearing masks, as they have in large parts of the United States now, I believe, if they stop wearing masks, then the whole atmosphere of what I would call fear and panic, which has been created by mask wearing over the past year or so, will dissipate. And once people stop being as afraid as they have been, the entire state of compliance, the willingness of people to do all kinds of things in the belief that if they don't do them, everyone will fall ill, will diminish. Well, you can see why they might think that. You can argue that it might be a sensible policy to take, but I don't think it's particularly factually based. And I think people should be wary of people just asserting that it is so. If anybody ever says to you, "Will masks work?" ask them to cite the proper randomized controlled trials of the gold standard of this kind of study. Ask them to cite the randomized control trial, which actually shows that what they're saying is true.